In this video, we're going to learn how to put the shoulder rest or the sponge and rubber band on the back of the violin. And you're probably wondering why I'm sitting on the floor, and that's because the violin can't fall off our lap if we're sitting on the floor. So I'm going to pick up the violin. I handle it by the neck and by the chin rest or the bottom of the bout, as we call that. We're going to turn it over so that the bridge is not touching anything. The bridge is held in place only by the force of the strings pushing down on it. It's not glued or nailed into place, so it's easily knocked around or can be easily broken if we push on it. So we want to make sure that it's between our legs so that the violin stays in tune and the bridge stays in one place. If you have a rubber band like this that has 3 looped together, you can take the 2 and put it on the corners of the violin, on the bottom corners, hold them into place, and then stretch it over either the end button, or if you have a smaller violin and big rubber bands, you can go all the way over the chin rest here. Either way will work. If you need a little bit of a tighter, the rubber band's more stretched, that might be the way to do it. So you can see that the rubber bands are on the corners. You can either put them on the top corners all the way around like that, or just on the bottom. Then all we have to do is we have the sponge, and you'll notice one side is flat and the other side is concave. The concave side is going to go to our shoulder, so the flat side goes on the violin. You'll also notice that one side is very thin and the other side is thicker. The thin side is going to go closer to our neck, so that side goes closer to the end button down here. So all you need to do is pick up the rubber bands and slide your sponge in. Sometimes it feels good to have the sponge right up to the edge of the instrument. Other times, back a little further works better. It just depends where you need that padding. But that's how the sponge is on, and then when I put my violin up, you'll see that the thicker part of the sponge is down here. It's like a wedge in there. When it comes time to put our violin in our case, we always take the sponge off, because otherwise the top will push down on the bridge, and we've already talked about that. You don't need to take the rubber band off when you take the sponge off. You just need to lift it up, and you can leave the rubber bands on. The rubber bands are not going to hurt the bridge when we close the case. We put our case back in, our violin back in our case, and our sponge in its place.